Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I am showing you guys how I did the Boho Lemonade Fulani hairstyle using the French curl hair. When I first did the format for this hairstyle, I did ear to ear. I have already done the first 2 rows in the back. Now I'm about to do the 2 rows heading towards the top. As you guys know, the Lemonade Fulani has individuals in the back of knotless braids. And then when you get towards the top, whatever side your client would like the braids to fall on, which is her right side, there are additional 2 rows of individual knotless boho braids. So that is what I am doing right now. On the other side of her head, there will not be any knotless braids. That will be actually where I start the cornrows and bring it over to this side. When you are doing the Lemonade Fulani hairstyle, you want to ask your client what side they would like their hair to fall, and that's the side you will know what to do the extra rows and also which way to have the braids going. So I'm starting off using my braiding gel, and her hair is freshly washed and blow dried, and I'm just going to show you guys how I do the knotless boho braid. So I start off braiding her hair a couple times, then I grab the hair that is on my braiding rack that I already have prepped aside of the French curl hair, and I start to feed in that hair. This row is actually the first row that I start to add in boho pieces. The first 2 rows in the back, I generally do not like to add in boho pieces. I don't care if it's human hair or synthetic hair because it rubs. And a lot of times it could be very difficult to maintain the boho pieces in the back 2 rows. But that is the part that rub up against your body, your neck. And I just feel like if you're not maintaining it very well in general, it could cause some tangles. So I like to start on the 3rd row. And if I was to do boho pieces in the first 2 rows, it will be in the 2nd row and it wouldn't be as much. I didn't leave out a heavy amount of boho pieces. That is another thing you want to discuss with your client, and just ask them, like, do you want it to be hyper maintenance, meaning you have to really tend to the curls, or do you want it kind of medium low, something you can manage? So she has like I want to say in between. It's still low maintenance, but anytime you get boho pieces, it's some type of maintenance. You have to make sure they don't get ratty or tangle, and that goes for whether you are using synthetic hair or you're using human hair. This French curl hair is synthetic hair, but it is a very manageable synthetic hair as long as you are taking care of it and not neglecting it. But in general, I don't start adding in boho pieces until I get to the 3rd row, and then I make it as heavy as my client will like it to be. She wanted something manageable, so that is what I did. So yeah, I really wanted it to be extra, extra boho, but since she recommended just like a medium, I was like, cool. Well, anyway, so with these boho braids, I simply just braid it all the way down past her hair, probably like an inch past her hair, and then I tie off a knot because I want that curly hair to really be exposed at the very end. And also because I don't want my client to cut her hair when taking her hair down. So I like to braid it all the way down past her hair and create a knot. When she goes to remove this hairstyle, she will cut where the knot is, and that will ensure that she is not cutting her own hair. So that is what I am doing right here. And you see her braid is fairly long because her hair is long. Yes, shrinkage is real, but when she goes to remove this, she will just cut where the knot is. And I am doing a bricklayer type of look where the braids are falling on each part, and that is intentional. I do want to say that I wish I made the braids a little bit smaller, but again, she didn't want to take down 1 million braids, and medium is always a great go-to because sometimes small can just be a little bit too much and it could be hyper full. So the size of her braids are a medium look, and I'm just braiding all the way past her hair. And then I'm going to create a knot, and that is where she cut. As I am braiding, I'm adding in boho hair. I'm taking about 2 to 3 pieces of boho hair out of each braid, mainly 2, but it really depends on kind of like the mood that I'm feeling, because once I am done doing all of these boho pieces, I will be going in and cutting them to how I feel it would look more beautiful in my eyes. But it is really up to you and the fullness that you want. Now I'm doing the last row in the back. Again, the first guided part that is a staple part when doing this hairstyle is ear to ear. This is why this is the last row for individual knotless braids, because this is meeting at the part where the ear to ear part is, and then after that it will be cornrows. I know you guys are looking like, why is that braid smaller? Simply because that's just how the rows end up laying doing a medium size. This is the row that separates the individuals from the cornrows, because as you guys know, Fulani hairstyles are basically best of both worlds. It is cornrows meet knotless braids or box braids. You can decide if you want knotless or traditional box braids, but that is basically what a Fulani hairstyle is. And now I am beginning the cornrow section. Here is how I mapped out the parts that I'm showing you guys to the right, this little clip here. And now I am about to make all those parts nice and crispy. But I did map out the top section. It really does help with just knowing the direction and the visual that you want for this hairstyle. Once you map out your parts, it makes the hairstyle go so much faster, because you're just cleaning up parts and then you're just braiding and adding in hair. But you also know what the design will be, and it won't be in question as you're braiding. You can also freestyle and do a braid by braid and go how you feel. I just was working on a certain amount of time, so I was like, I'm gonna map out these braids just so I can make sure everything is parted the same size, and also so I know how it will look on her and if I need to make any adjustments or changes. So this really just helps me do it in a more efficient way as far as time and just knowing the direction and the look that I'm going for. So that is what I did. If you are finding value in this video, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you thumbs up this video if you are really liking it. Comment if you are going to do this hairstyle, or any questions or any suggestions you would like to leave. If you would like to know what I use in this hairstyle, I will be linking my Amazon storefront of all the products I've used and all those things, so you guys can go and purchase them and you'll be ready to go with creating this hairstyle. And yeah, I am just doing these cornrows. And again, everything that I use will be in the description box, so make sure you purchase everything that I'm using. And you guys can kind of see my braiding rack with all the hair as well on the side there in this clip. And again, I like to prep my hair to the side because it makes things go so much smoother, especially with this type of hair. I would definitely recommend prepping this hair to the side. You do not want to be pulling from this bundle because it can cause it to knot. I'm not saying that this hair is difficult by any means, but what I'm saying is I feel like it works better being separated. And also, I do want to speak upon the maintenance and care for this hair. If I was wearing this hairstyle, and this is what I recommend to my client, I would wear a shower cap when I am bathing and showering, and I will use a braid, bonnet, or a scarf when wearing this hairstyle. I would separate a couple sections in this hairstyle, use my unbrush to detangle with some water or leave-in or mousse and detangle, and then I would twist and put it in a ponytail and then put it in that braid sack for when I am sleeping. And that is how I would maintain this hair. I will also moisturize my hair and use some braid spray. I will have those products in my Amazon storefront that will be at the bottom as well. But spray it down with that braid spray, or just even with some water, and then going over it right after with some oil, because your pores are nice and open. And that is how I would maintain this hairstyle. This hairstyle will last you at least a month and a half. And that is as far as I would take it. And then I will recommend removing it and really doing a nice cleanse and deep shampoo and conditioner on my hair. And that is how I would maintain the healthiness of my hair. And that is what I recommend for all of my clients. I really just say like a month, maybe a week. But if you are really trying to really stretch it, a month and a half is great with wearing any type of protective style, because you want to make sure that you are maintaining good scalp care and hair care as well. So yeah, but now you see me guys just braiding in her bang part. But I am done doing all the braiding and it's time to do the finishing touches. And that includes this right here, me oiling her scalp with Blue Magic. I just like to go over this heavily so that way my client don't have to worry about it for a while, at least 2 weeks. Now I am cutting it to the desired length. I really wanted it shorter, but since my client has long, beautiful hair, her braids are longer than I anticipated, but this is still like a short bob. Now I'm going through cutting the boho pieces just to really define this hair because it is a curly type of hair and it's giving like a zillions look. So now I am just cutting the pieces to the length that I would like it. So that way it's not making the ends look super duper full. And here is the finished product. I love this hairstyle. It turned out super cute. And if you guys want to see pictures, just head on over to my community post. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and hair grease, and here's some other tutorials.